Hey my online family, let's make sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is a dish made from fermented cabbage. It is very rich in probiotics, fiber and vitamins. So when you think of sauerkraut, you think of probiotics that are highly beneficial to women. First thing I did was prep my cabbage, then I went on to slice it. A very important ingredient needed in the making of sauerkraut, apart from the cabbage, is salt. You need salt because salt is going to help the cabbage release brine. Brine is that liquid that is going to help to ferment the cabbage. So you want to make sure that you mix. For this quantity of cabbage I have here, I used a teaspoon of salt to bring out the brine. So you have to make sure that you mix. Make sure that you you have enough strength, or you eat ever, because you're going to mix. For sauerkraut, you don't add water. So you want to make sure that you want to ensure that you make the cabbage produce enough water or brine that can submerge the cabbage. So just follow the process. It's an interesting one, but don't forget it's ever before you start. This took about 15 minutes of vigorous mixing to finally get brine. I went ahead to keep mixing until I was sure that I had enough brine for the sauerkraut. I got my sterilized bottles and I went ahead to pour the sauerkraut into the jar. Guys, one very important step in doing this is, as you're pouring the sauerkraut, ensure that you're using your spatula or your spoon to push it down. You have to forcefully push the cabbage down the jar so that the liquid can float on top. The essence for this is to prevent the intrusion of bad bacteria. The only bacteria we need for this sauerkraut is good bacteria. So you want to ensure that there is brine on top of your cabbage or sauerkraut. Just ensure that there is enough liquid covering. To ensure that the sauerkraut stays under brine, I used a chunk of the cabbage cover to press it and to push it down. For the fermentation process, I left it over the counter for 14 days. I deliberately left it for 14 days. The fermentation process is usually 5 to 14 days. So from the 5th day, you can then decide to put it in the fridge. You don't need freezer for sauerkraut because freezer is going to kill the good bacteria. And I think for any probiotic, you don't need to store it in the freezer. The temperature in the freezer is too low for the good bacteria or for the probiotics, so it's going to kill the good bacteria. You want to ensure that you put it in fridge. You can't leave it over the counter for 14 days. So after the 14th day, you have to put it in the fridge. That's going to help preserve the life of the probiotic.